Hello and welcome to Deep Dish. And I'm Kenny.
I'm D.
And we're a couple of filmmakers. This is a spin-off show from The Talkies where we are four filmmakers talking about movies, but this is two filmmakers talking about streaming television series.
That's right, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, only half of the Talkies crew was willing to give time to talking about streaming series. So here we are.
It's just not that interesting.
It is to me.
Well, it is to me too.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Hey, look at that.
Yee. So, this is...
I was going to get my notebook, but I don't have
It's okay, I got the notes today, D. I got you covered.
Thank you.
So today is... this is episode 2, and we're covering episode 2. See how it lines up like that?
Three body problem.
Yeah, so three body problem, episode 2, which was called something Red Coast?
Something Red Coast.
The Red Coast. I still don't know why it's called that.
I don't know either.
Yeah. Well, you know...
I believe it has something to do with the red sun.
All right. I guess. Probably some China shit. Some kind of China shit going on, right?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say it's right in line with Dan and Dave to have a bunch of nonsense titles for their episodes. But then I remember, no, that was Nolan.
Nolan?
Yeah, like not Christopher's brother.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jonathan. Yeah.
Jonathan Nolan.
Yeah.
He makes unreasonably complex titles for his episodes of shows. Just read through the title list of the episodes of Westworld. It's fucking bonkers. Crazy shit. Anyway,
I haven't seen.
He's being very symbolic. It's deep.
That's not what this is.
It's really deep.
Yeah, it's not what this is, though.
I don't know what this is. All right. Episode 2 of Three Body Problem.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're just going to step through it scene by scene, and then we'll kind of recap the whole episode.
Yeah.
We're not going to give it a pizza rating, which is our tradition on the Talkies. We're holding that off to pizza rate the entire season.
Hold your pizzas, man.
Yeah, everyone hold your pizzas, okay? Okay, I've been inundated with emails after episode 1 being like, what's your pizza rating? And I'm like, chill, man, chill. You'll get there.
Yeah.
You got to get through the season. You can't judge by one episode.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this episode, so just for recap, the last episode ended on the universe winking.
Winking, yeah, the blinking stars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. This one starts off with Saul visiting old Wenjie at her home. He goes in, he lights a candle next to a picture of Vera. Rip Vera.
Rip Vera.
and then they sit down and chat, and basically Wenjie says, hey, what do you think about the blinking stars? And he shares his theory that it's all bullshit.
Yeah. This is weird. His line is weird. I don't know if it's... I'm gonna say the book.
I don't know. Yeah. This is close to where I gave up on the book, so I can't really dive in much further because...
Do you know if they say this in the book? That line?
I don't recall it, no.
The weird thing about this is that I like the idea. I like the idea that Saul is not really willing to accept what happened. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. Also, a guy who is literally trying to get away from reality all the time by doing a lot of
drugs,
psychoactive drugs. Yeah. He says that it's a deep fake, or he says that it's whatever. But then there's nothing more to it than that, and that's fine. Not to have an explanation of it, but it's just weird that it's just a weird type of dialogue to say it wasn't real, and then just to keep it.
I think they're trying to foreshadow something.
Yeah.
And because we made a commitment to not spoil future episodes, we won't say what that is.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit.
Yeah. I think they're trying to build up that Saul is actually very smart.
Yeah.
And a playboy, and therefore a wasted talent. Right. That's kind of his story arc, is that he's this wasted talent who could be so much more.
And are you saying that he withheld the rest of the answer just because, or
no, I think he said all he knew or postulated at that point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that they're just illustrating that he's very clever.
Yeah.
because again, he's foreshadowing something from later.
Gotcha.
Later, you'll look back and be like, whoa, he's smart. Right?
Oh, yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, that's not a spoiler. No.
Surprise, Saul's smart.
Yeah. So I think they're just trying to drop nuggets that Saul's like this brilliant guy and just completely irresponsible and lazy and a playboy. Anyway, yeah. And Wenjie basically says, interesting theory.
Yeah.
That's
the end of the conversation.
That's the scene. End scene. So we move to Jin and Auggie are outside of Augie's very techno-savvy company.
Yeah.
That she is in charge of.
The nanotech stuff.
And Jin basically says, whatever you do, it's the right choice. I love you. And sends her off. And just to recap the scene, Auggie goes in. They do the test of the nanofibers cutting a diamond. It's successful. Everyone cheers. And she immediately says, shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down. Yes, very dramatic.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Stop the presses.
Yes. Stop the program.
What did you think about this weird juxtaposition of the climax of her nanotech getting to where it should have been, right? I guess this cutting the diamond, it looks like it's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Like happening.
Yeah.
Like this is their first test that's successful, maybe. I don't know. Juxtaposed with her saying, it's got to shut down.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're trying to show how intense the countdown experience is.
Yeah.
Like it's really driving her crazy to the point where she can't even find joy in her life's work, actually achieving its pinnacle moment.
Yeah.
And she's terrified. So that's what they're trying to do.
It definitely seemed like she was distracted. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I use the word trying to do because I think there were some, maybe the biggest failure of this show, at least of season 1, is the portrayal of Auggie. Yeah. Augie's... She's not a deep character. No. It's hard to believe she's real.
Right.
She's hard to buy into. Very hard.
I previously mentioned this just a little bit, but I know last episode we talked about how Auggie is definitely the weakest one, or at least seems like the weakest one. And I did a Google search and found a Reddit post about people talking about the book and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so Augie's character is like 1/3 of another character. It's Wing.
Yeah.
And Wing is the owner of the nanotech also, but he also does what Jen does. And I think also does something about Jack or Saul, one of them. But one character is split into 3 or 4 other characters. And I guess that's the reason why Auggie seems so, what's the word? Thin?
Mm-hmm. Or one-dimensional.
Yeah, one-dimensional. She's not that deep. And I think that's the reason why I was not liking a lot of her, why I kept saying she was just a mad girl, because typically what she's going through doesn't have anything to do with the plot as much as, except for the countdown.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Why, I mean... I know that we've only seen 2 episodes.
Yeah, I don't think it's has anything to do with her performance.
Yeah.
I think she's a fine actress.
No, I think she's, and I thought she was great for what she
was given.
Right.
Yeah, she did great.
Yeah.
The writers failed to give us anything to grasp onto, especially anything that validated what we were seeing on the screen.
Right. And I think it's the, like, saying that you care about a character, at least in this show so far, is very much connected to the plot itself. Because the characters going through their own hardships are fine, whatever, but they're introduced as very smart characters that are very capable. And so when you see that they're facing a problem that has to do with physics, you're like, oh, shit, there's something wrong with your professional life. Let's see what that's about.
Yeah.
And Auggie doesn't have that. Auggie doesn't have anything connected except she has the nanotech thing.
Yeah.
But the only thing that's connected to is this countdown that we see.
Yeah. There's a scene in episode 1 where she tells the sleazy guy at the bar,
right?
She's like, I own a company that makes nanofibers. But that was like the only moment where she says anything about science and her work.
Yeah.
Like, whereas with Jin, she seems almost always preoccupied with science. when she plays the game later in this episode, she chooses her name Copernicus.
Right. Even Saul, who we've said it seems to be like a point of the writing to make Saul look smart. That's the idea, is that he keeps saying stuff, even in episode 1. Like the first scene that we see is Saul, having this mental issue about seeing what's on screen and trying to make sense of it. Yeah. And like we never have that with Auggie.
No, and they actually do it pretty well with every other character. That's what's really weird about it.
It's really, it's strange.
Later in this episode, we meet Will Downing.
Yeah.
And Will, they really sell us on the idea that Will is someone who is brilliant, but almost seems like he feels kind of unworthy to stand in the place of a brilliant person.
Right.
He wants to go teach high school, he's not a limelight sort of person.
Yeah.
And they give us evidence of that. They don't really give us evidence that makes it make any sense to me that Auggie is the CEO of this tech company.
Yeah.
I don't see it at all.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because when the first time that I saw the scene of the Nanotech cutting the diamond, I had the same kind of thought that my sister-in-law, when she saw this scene, she asked me later on, she was like, so what was the deal with the diamond? Why was that important? And I was like, why is it important? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know about it later, and I'm like, it will make sense later, but it does not connect me to Auggie whatsoever.
It honestly doesn't look like she's in charge.
Right.
When she's in that room and they're doing the test.
It doesn't. No, it looks like she's second in charge, actually.
Yeah.
To the one old.
To the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it might be because she's distracted.
And when they're at the water cooler and the guys are talking about the stars blinking and they're like, Dr. whatever her name is, what do you think about the stars? And she's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't feel like they're talking to their superior.
Right. Yeah. There was not a boss in that room. Not that it didn't feel that way.
Yeah. So it's a writing failure mostly, I think, in this sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to like Auggie.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, every time that she was introduced, I thought she had an interesting dynamic with Saul, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And they had this kind of, will they, won't they kind of thing going on. I'm not really that interested in that kind of
they keep hinting that there's a relationship there, and I don't care.
Yeah, but it was something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I attached myself to, and they never do anything about it, or at least not thus far.
Shut down everything. I'm in charge here. She literally says it.
Does she say
I
that?
am
she does say that.
the presiding officer, and you will stop research now.
Yeah.
Which I don't. There's no like action they can do to stop research. So I don't know what it was that satisfied the
countdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was confused too.
Yeah, they're like there's people like furiously researching in the back room, and they're like, "Stop, everyone!" I don't know.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that they did that. Yeah, I would like to have seen something more finite, I guess, instead of her saying "stop, shut everything down."
Yeah,
if it's literally like something that she had to do, I don't know. That way, it was less floaty.
I don't know.
Yeah,
there's some holes here, I think.
I don't think so. I think this is the perfect show, actually.
Anyway, okay. So she leaves. She sits on a bench to smoke, and then there's our favorite cop, Clarence.
Yeah,
and he's like, "I'd keep going if I were you," or something like that.
Yeah,
because they're going to come looking for you. And so they walk together. He introduces himself in the classic cop way by handing someone a business card. And it's like, who are you? And he just hands a business card. That's just... I want to actually see this guy. Is it Benedict?
Benedict Wong.
Benedict Wong.
Yeah.
I want to see him in a noir murder mystery.
Dude, I know. After we talked about Memories of Murder and how it feels like he's that guy. He's
nailing... He's performing this role as if he is in a noir film.
No, it feels like he is a main character somewhere, and it really, in the story, it feels like it's not.
It's almost disjointed from the rest of the story because his performance is very different from the types of performances we're getting from other characters. Like it almost feels like he has his own director.
Right, it does.
Yeah,
that's a strong actor for you.
It's a good performance. I like it.
Yeah.
But it probably stands out too much.
It probably,
yeah. He's not supposed to.
He's not.
He's not even on the poster.
No?
Yeah, he's not on the poster. Freaking Jen's boyfriend is on the poster.
Is on the poster.
And Wade is on the poster. And Benedict Wong is not.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Benedict Wong was like a pull for me when I saw this show.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's good. He's really good.
I wanted to say this is I don't know if they did this on purpose. I'm sure they did. Everything on film should be done on purpose, but like the tracking shot where she gets back up and starts walking again, I thought was a weird choice because Benedict Wong. So Clarence is, I don't know, is he already smoking?
I think he's always smoking.
Yeah, that's the noir aspect.
Yeah.
So he's so he says, I wouldn't stop if I were you, and then throws a cigarette down, and she gets up and starts walking again. Right, like, oh yeah, you're right. I shouldn't stop. And then the camera's just stationary, and it tracks with him as he walks toward her. And I just thought it was really strange because it gave such momentum to a shot that really doesn't need any. It felt like they were trying to show hurriedness with her.
Were they on a dolly or handheld? It was a dolly?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. It felt like, because it's like the same thing is done in war movies all the time. If someone is on the front lines of somewhere and they're going forward, then they start tracking with them as they go forward. And I'm not saying tracking shots are just always that way, but I mean, like, there's an intent to building momentum with your character that way.
Yeah.
And with this one, it actually undercuts by going, the next shot is a wide shot, and it's a long wide shot. It's from the opposite end, and they have this super long
which
lens.
kills the momentum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is meant to compress space and kill momentum.
Yeah, I love watching shows and movies with you because you help me see things that I don't normally see, but
things that I'm annoyed by.
yeah. But that should be such an obvious thought.
It's interesting
when it comes to making like a shot list.
Yeah.
It feels like, especially with Netflix productions, that in pre-production they're making a shot list based on coverage.
No, that's what it is.
Yeah,
most definitely. This shot, and there's another shot we're going to come up to later on, where you could tell they put the camera in a creative spot, and then kept shooting afterwards for coverage, and then later on in the editing room, probably figured out they didn't have coverage in another shot. So they had to keep this creative one that was meant for a different intent.
Yeah.
But they just kept rolling on it for continuity's sake, I think. Yeah.
I love how often we can see like a chain of events 5 steps deep by something we see on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know what happened here. The director came in and into the post room and was like, don't like this. Oh, we don't have any other shot to choose from, so we have to go use this crazy shot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But okay.
Well, I mean, because that's what you and I have done that before.
Of course, yeah. We've all made this show. We've all done this.
We've all done this show.
Yeah. All right. So after they chit chat while walking, we cut to Jen in her room
on the phone.
She starts off. Oh no! I glossed over something. First, the cop and Auggie have their scene in Clarence's office.
Yeah, the noir scene.
Yeah. That's a good scene too.
It is. Yeah.
And this is where they reveal that the mysterious lady who came and spoke to Auggie on the steps is not visible in the footage.
Right.
And they have no idea how that could be possible.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Clarence believes Augie's telling the truth because her lighter doesn't work,
which is set up. That's a thing. If you notice, when as soon as they sit down to talk,
she tries to light her cigarette. She can't. And he lights it.
Yeah.
And then he already knew that because he's been watching the footage for days. Right. It's kind of cheesy.
No, it is. It's
but I also like it. I kind of like it.
So it's a visual. It's not a motif, but it's a visual setup.
Yeah. It's like your lighter doesn't work.
Right. But I think why it feels cheesy is because that's the like many things, again, we're going to talk about. It's the only time that shot matters. And that's the only reason why it's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is to show the lighter doesn't work.
Yeah. It's kind of like broadcasted.
Right. And if it wasn't, if it didn't set up for something else, I feel like it would be a nice character moment actually for Clarence, because he goes to light it for her and starts speaking while he does so. It's like he's just kind of a nice guy who just does things just because. But because they had that finish, it felt like it was a setup then. So
yeah. He does nice things, but especially if it's lighting someone's cigarette, because he's always lighting cigarettes. as like his primary character motif.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, okay, so Augie's she's not seeing the countdown anymore at this point.
Yeah.
Right. So why is she still super stressed? Is it because she just shut down everything?
Probably. I mean, I guess you would be.
Yeah.
She knows she's like just pissed off and disappointed a lot of people. Right?
She has, yeah. But
No, it makes sense that she would be. It's just they didn't give us enough context for it to be obvious.
Well, and she didn't have just like the ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, I don't know which one's ebb, which one's flow. There was no, so the hills and valleys part of a character, right? They go up and down, and hers was like she's stressed the fuck out because this countdown is embedded in her eyeballs.
Yeah,
pretty fucking stressful. And then she shuts down everything. It disappears. You would think she has a moment to go, right? And we come down with her, but we never do.
I think that would have felt fine.
Yeah.
If they had given us more reason to believe that these nanofibers was the most important thing in her life.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Character.
Like if it was this huge tug of war between getting rid of this countdown that might kill her, and the thing she's been working on nonstop for the last 10 years, something like that.
Right.
But they never gave us that. Like we literally learn about the microfiber,
right?
Nanofiber. We learn about it 2 minutes before.
Dude, I never even thought about that. That's why that scene seems so disjointed.
Yeah.
When she goes to poke the diamond and it falls apart.
Yeah.
Is because there's no setup for it.
This show has a lot of sequences that I think are marvelously made. Yeah. Like it has flashes of brilliance.
Yeah.
And then you got a scene like this one where they cut the diamond. It literally felt like a scene from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This could have been in Doc Octopus laboratory, Dr. Octavius.
Why do you say that?
It just felt that way. Well, because in a Marvel movie, they don't try to explain things or get you like to put you in a place where it's like, oh, this makes sense for this step of logical reasons.
Right.
In a Marvel movie, it's I accept what I'm seeing on screen because let's get to the bad guys or whatever.
Same, the first Iron Man movie, you could say, like when he puts together the chest battery in the cave. Yeah. It's like you just accept it.
Or in that the most recent Spider-Man, the one that had all the cameo comebacks from like Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
They have a moment where they're like, let's have a montage where we make a cure for and they're just like pouring stuff in test tubes and it's bubbling and then yay, we did it, You can do that in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a really sophisticated sci-fi film like this IP is supposed to be.
Yeah, not when it's linked directly to the plot, which this is.
Yeah.
Like it's like the nanofiber tech is Augie's personality at this moment, or it should be, and we just never get that. So we should have required more setup to that.
Oh, and I wanted to mention when you brought up that Auggie was a piece of a character.
Yeah. Right.
So you said that basically Jin's character has been broken into 3 parts.
Yeah.
By Dan and Dave.
Yeah, the character's named Ming, I think.
In the book.
Yeah.
And in this, it's Jin, Auggie, and Jack.
Yeah.
So they give this one character's...
It's Wang.
Either way.
Anyway.
They give this one character and they break it across 3 new characters.
3 or 4, yeah.
And what's really fascinating about that is that typically in adaptation, when you're adapting book to film, your biggest challenge is that you have to compress, not expand. So it's very common to collapse multiple characters into one.
That's interesting.
That's what you see way more often.
Yeah.
Is it would be like, oh, there's this tangential character who's important, but is it important enough to cast a whole nother person for our expensive show?
Right.
Or could we have this established character just do those things? They do that all the time.
Yeah.
If you're breaking one character into 3 during an adaptation from a book to a movie, that tells me there's something weird going on. It's like you didn't have enough of what?
I think this is the thing that made me kind of weirded out when I first read about this adaptation being made was they said that they were changing everything from the Chinese culture to be more about the entire Earth and humanity as as a whole.
Okay.
The book was written with that in mind. I mean, I don't know if we talked about this, but in the first episode, the whole idea is that culture war is a thing that's happening in China. And that's kind of what the whole premise of this idea of, I don't know if I can say it yet, but the idea of what the aliens, okay, but we know aliens about is in here. The idea that aliens are coming to Earth and invading is like a direct response, I don't want to say literally, but what does it mean when you take something from text? You know what I'm talking about?
Be smart for me, D.
Academically?
Okay.
It's like it's not a metaphor, but the book was written in response to to this culture war that happened in China.
Yeah.
And it's like that. It's so relevant to that kind of thing. It's weird to make it into anything else.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they had to split a character into a bunch, because it didn't make sense to have one character do all of these things that were really important, but also be Chinese at the same time, because Wenjie is also Chinese, and it wouldn't make sense to have everyone in China when they're trying to make it about bigger stuff. I don't know. Maybe just Jack Rooney could have been that character. I don't know.
I don't know either, but in some respects it worked. Because they did make some characters that were really good to latch onto. It failed for Auggie in the ways that we just described.
Yeah.
I actually like all the, for lack of a better word, Britishness that's infused into the story.
Yeah.
Especially with Jack and Will.
I do too. I like the freaking character dynamic between Jin and Auggie. They're like, I love the idea of the best friends knowing everything about each other, and I just think they work really well together.
Yeah, best friends who know everything about each other and hate that each of them ignores their own biggest flaws.
Right.
Like they're the kind of best friends who tell you to your face that you're fucking up.
Yeah.
And because they're your best friend, you don't listen to them.
Yeah, if only the whole series was about that.
That's true. Yeah, you make a fair point. Let us march on, shall we? All right. So the next scene starts with Jen trying to get Auggie on the phone, leaving her a voicemail. And then as soon as she gets off the phone, she's like, I got to get that helmet back on my head. And she
just immediately.
Yeah, she is addicted to gaming.
That's what this is about.
That's what this is. It's a social commentary about the addictiveness.
That's what it is.
Of video games.
Yeah, video games.
And they make you kill people.
They do. Yeah. I played one the other day and I killed someone.
See?
Later on.
Yeah.
I really regret it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I played Frogger.
Yeah.
And I was hit by a car.
Were you?
Yeah.
Were you that?
I was trying to cross the street.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway. So she plays the game. She goes in, and this time she actually really gets into the game. Last time it was just a little sneak peek, right?
Right. Which I have a thing about, but continue.
Okay, fine. But she gets in, the Duke of the West or something.
The Count.
The Count.
The Count.
The Count of the West and his friend, who's a little girl.
The follower.
The follower.
Yeah.
Approach Jen, and
you may call her follower.
Yes. Jen is smitten by the reality of it, tries to touch the guy, and he's like, how dare you touch a royal? And he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Jen. And he's like, pick a better name. Okay,
Copernicus.
I'm Copernicus. Because, of course, she would pick Copernicus.
Right.
Because she's a nerd.
Fucking nerd.
Nerd.
What the
All
hell
right.
is this?
Yeah. Anyways, a sun starts to rise on the horizon.
One of them, yeah.
Everyone freaks out.
Yep.
And Jen's like, what's the problem? And they're like, get behind the rock.
Yep.
And then the Count completely tells a lie and says there's not enough room for the three of us behind this rock. That was bullshit.
No, he was doing the door thing.
Oh.
With the, door with Rose and Jack. Titanic, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's all.
Sure. Yeah.
It's for dramatic effect.
I could have thought of 10 ways that the three of them fit behind this rock in the shade of the rock, but
So wait. I want to talk about this real quick. So the rock, and before this, the entrance with Jen, the rock part, I'm totally down for. I'm totally cool with that. And the reason why
it's a video game.
Right. No, that's exactly why.
Yeah.
Because I bought into the fact that this is a fantasy world, and the idea that freaking the count and the follower just showed up right to her left.
Yeah.
Right out of nowhere, this infinity world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally fine with the idea. Like, even if it was just him behind the rock, there was plenty of space, and he's like, you can't be here. Right. I'd be fine.
And they kind of act like NPCs.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Jin's entrance into this game, it changes depending on what the filmmakers need her to be at. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember if we saw this in Ready Player One, but I remember, you know, whenever you turn on a video game, you start somewhere, right? And then you start from that same spot every time you turn it on, unless it's like saved or something.
Sure.
And for Jen, every time that she entered, it was something different. I mean, it was the same place.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the first time that she entered, the sun rose and killed everything, and like a skeleton blinked at her or opened her eyes. Mm-hmm. And the second time she learned what she was actually supposed to be doing, and then the third time, then she met the count. It was just weird to be like in the script that, you know, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit game logic to me, and I guess I'm very close to video games. So
I guess you are.
Yeah, I'm an addict is the thing.
I don't think this is a video game.
It is a game. It says level 1.
I know, but it ain't really a game, is it?
No, it's a game though.
We shall see. So they go to hide behind this rock, and the count's like, "There's no room for you here, girl.
Yeah,
go lay down in the sun."
Lay down.
And her only concern is, will you leave me here? Don't forget me.
Right.
You know, and he's like, we won't abandon you. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And she just agrees to lay down. And then in maybe my favorite special effect of the season, she dehydrates in a extremely visceral, disturbing way.
Just the most detailed.
It was really good. That looked awesome.
That was crazy. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And then Jen's like, she's dead. And Count's like, nope, she's fine.
She's fine, and just rolls her up.
You dehydrate so fast that you're still alive, and you just have to be rehydrated later. And I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that.
Yeah. Again, that is very video game
100%
feeling. Yeah.
That's why I had no trouble with the rock.
I also loved that upon rolling her up, it becomes Jen's responsibility to carry her.
Yeah.
And later her responsibility to dehydrate her.
Yeah.
You know?
To
rehydrate her. Yeah.
Right.
And I almost wish it mattered more. Because it seemed very important, like it had weight. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to carry this person."
Yeah,
you know. But whatever. Anyway, I ask too much, I think.
I agree. I do wish that it mattered more.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of spoilers going forward.
Well, no, that's all from this same episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after the girl dehydrates, we go to a complete throwaway scene with Saul on a date with two girls. Boy's hoping to get himself some threesome action tonight.
He says a line in here about the biblical.
He's talking about God and the destroying angel.
Yeah, he brings up this point, which I think it's a great line, but it's completely throwaway scene where he just tells these girls, no, it couldn't be biblical because of the contrast, you know. In biblical times, they're sending all kinds of things, and this one, he just makes the stars.
He's really smart and irresponsible,
right? And I guess that's what they're trying to say here, but it isn't
completely unnecessary.
It's completely unnecessary.
Ultimately, it played one role, and that was to show that he was ignoring an incoming call from Auggie,
right?
Because he was excited to get a little booty, booty. Come in. All right. As I was saying.
This feels my hair looks fucking weird here.
Yeah, that's a little weird. You need to do something.
I need to do something.
Dee's hair looks weird. As I was saying, it is a throwaway scene.
It is, yeah.
Saul basically is just like, I I'm smart and I want to do acid with hot chicks, and I'm going to ignore this call from Auggie. But that was it.
Yeah.
That was the only point.
No, it's just to show that he missed Augie's call.
And it started a conversation between you and I.
Yeah.
About how maybe a quarter of the scenes in this show are throwaway scenes. It's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway. Sorry, super fans of Three Body Problem.
Including the next scene, honestly.
Yeah, the more I talk about this show, the more frustrated I get about it. I was pretty high on it my first time through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's falling apart now. It's crumbling. Oh my God. All right. So Saul goes off to have acid in a swamp or something with these chicks. You notice he shows up later asleep on Auggie's porch. But what happened to the girls?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want to know.
They drowned in the swamp.
They became, they are down in the swamp muck.
Wow, this is actually genius.
It's dark.
It's dark. It's really dark. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then we have the scene where Jen and Jack are talking about the game and the helmet.
Right.
I like this scene, actually.
What do you like about it?
It's just fun because I love Jack's character.
Because
he's kind of my favorite person in the whole show.
Really, Jack and Jen, I think, are the best two characters here.
Yeah. And so this is where we see him try it on.
Yeah.
And he gets his head cut off a few times. I found his reactions to it really endearing and fun.
I like them. Yeah.
And the last one where he doesn't react at all, he just takes it off and goes, my head was cut off again. I like that was good.
Yeah,
that was a good scene.
No, I think it shows that Dan and Dave and him, Samuel Tarly guy.
Samuel Tarly.
Yeah, that they're good at comedy. I think they're good at comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they get some funny moments.
I think all the funny moments in here are better than some of the dramatic ones.
Oh, here's an idea.
Yeah.
Dan and Dave should have done Fallout.
Hey.
And Jonathan Nolan should have done Three Body Problem.
There you go.
They should have traded here big time because, anyway.
Someone over there shook their head.
This is awkward. We don't have a third camera. I can't prove to you there's another person here. You'll have to take our word for it. So yeah, Jack gets killed 3 times, and they basically just learn you have to be invited to the game.
So that is silly.
That's the only information revealed, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's kind of the thing that I don't like about it is that I feel like a scene like this is made specifically and usually in movies to show the rules of whatever they're messing with. Right. So they have a plot device. And then at this time, you see the people messing with the plot device, and you're like, okay, what does it do? What can we do? What can we not do? And we don't learn anything.
Yeah.
Except for Jack is funny.
Yep. And it was kind of a reprieve because the show had started to kind of drag at that point. So there's that it serves that purpose.
There was, yeah.
It kind of pulled you back in.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a shot to show that the cop Clarence is listening in on them.
Yep.
I don't from where. I don't. He's
a noir movie.
He's bugged their apartment or something. He's
bugged everything.
What a creepy fuck. He's listening to them. Ew. That was that. And then the next thing, Saul is waking up on Auggie's front porch there.
Yep.
Auggie comes out and there's Saul passed out on her stoop.
Yep.
So I guess after his insane acid trip and accidental murder of those 2 girls, he stumbles to the person he really loves, Auggie, and collapses on her doorstep.
Yeah.
I guess.
This is weird.
This scene's stupid. I don't like it, by the way.
It's a bad scene. Actually, the shot, though, is freaking cool.
Which one?
The tracking shot where they show them across the street.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can see so much dynamic range.
I was about to say, it's a dynamic range commercial.
Yeah, no, it is.
When I saw that, I was like, ooh, what's that, Black Magic? What you doing, man? Is that you got some Da Vinci going on? What's going on, man?
That's some Ari shit.
I wouldn't know.
That's like 20 stops of dynamic range.
Never touched an Ari, so I have no idea. But it was impressive.
When, so they do this whole thing between them where it's Auggie is mad at him for not having answered her call, which is whatever.
Yeah.
So Saul is doing like this kind of weird ex-boyfriend kind of, or boyfriend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where
my vibe is they hooked up once and are like star-crossed lovers.
Right. That's what I think. And when he fell asleep at her door, it made this idea that he's sorry, tried to contact her, ended up falling asleep in front of her door because he couldn't get a hold of her.
He got tired of holding his stereo above his head outside of her window.
Yeah. And so what's weird about this is that I don't know, that Auggie is still, that there's dramatic tension here for no reason. That Auggie is just mad at him.
She's just mean girl.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have another thing to be worried about. It comes across as way too heavy-handed, and it makes it seem like she's mad for no reason. And there is a reason, but it's not.
I got kind of pissed off at Auggie in this scene.
Yeah. Did you?
Because I felt for Saul. I felt like this is a scene that's reenacted between men and women, or probably anyone in romantic relationships.
No, this scene is in every rom-com ever.
This is so normal, and you have the girlfriend is like, I had the worst day ever, and I called you and you didn't answer the phone.
Right.
And he's like, I didn't know you had the worst day ever.
Right.
I didn't know that your fucking company fell apart.
Yeah.
I was getting high with some hot chicks. I was gonna be like, oh, Auggie, you definitely had the worst day ever. I should answer.
Okay, I see what's happening now.
Oh yeah?
Auggie is mad at Saul because of latent feelings.
Yeah.
Toward him.
Well, no, that's obvious what they want us to. That's what I hate about this because it's a huge failure. Like, it's obvious to me that that's what Dan and Dave wanted us to pick up on.
Well, okay.
And yet we didn't.
So is this the?
Does that make sense?
It's
obvious that they wanted something to be obvious and it wasn't.
This is the graveyard scene. Is what this is. This is the graveyard scene that we talked about.
That one might be worse, actually.
So Dan and Dave are shit. That's what we were talking about.
Starting to feel like it. I don't know.
What? What'd you say? Starting
to feel like it?
Well, that's
geez.
the thing. Like,
geez.
I was still giving him a benefit of the doubt because of the whole George R. Martin thing.
Right, no, me too.
You know,
and Kenny made a excellent point. Person who's off the camera. He's talking about how Game of Thrones was written cinematically, and thus was really well preserved when it was on the screen. Whereas Three Body Problem was kind of ripped apart a little bit. Yeah,
Three Body Problem is like an existential book.
Right. No, it's psychological more than it is visceral.
Whereas you almost feel like you're watching a movie when you read Game of Thrones. And so, I don't know. Maybe they're just mediocre producers that ended up with the best possible content for them to adapt.
Right.
And then that turned them into super producers, meaning they could do whatever they want. And since then,
Yeah. I really wonder what a Star Wars would look like from them. Because I really don't think it'd be good.
Not if they're creating the content.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Don't create content.
No. Adapt good content.
Adapt
simple content.
Oh, you know what? Actually, 300. That comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan and Dave. There you go.
Sure. Yeah. I honestly think that's why
do Marvel movies. Oh shit.
Maybe. That's
Marvel.
why you know what? Dan and Dave remind me a lot of Kevin Feige. Actually,
kind of.
There's a lot of overlap there.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's why 300 is Zack Snyder's best movie.
Because it's a storyboard that he followed.
Yeah, it's just like shot for shot.
Yeah.
You know. And he gave it his creative flair because that's what he does. Right. Zack Snyder brings a creative flair to something else.
Yeah.
And that's his real strength.
Ooh, interesting, because Dan and Dave don't.
No, they don't really. Yeah. Oh man. Rip Dan and Dave. God damn.
Rip.
We suck.
I didn't realize this was going to be just a hate on the show.
I know, because I like the show. Like, I honestly kind of like the show. I recognize it has a lot of flaws. I will definitely watch season 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever I talk about it with you,
honestly, maybe I hate the show.
I think if like my brother Jake, who is not a cinephile, called me and was like, "How about Three Body Problem?" I'd be like, "Dude, it's cool. Watch it, man. It's really cool." But then I talked to D and I'm just like, what was with this shit? You know what I mean? This was shit. Oh my God. Could have done it better. Not how I would have done it.
Not how I would have done it.
Anyway. So yeah, Saul and Auggie, fuck them.
Saul and Auggie, fuck.
Not in this season, unfortunately. I'd rather watch that.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yes.
might be hot. 2 thumbs up. Would watch. Now we got the cop, Mr. Clarence.
Yes.
Is at a graveyard, a cemetery.
We have the stupidest scene ever.
Bringing his red velvet cupcake to his dead wife.
Yes, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, it is literally sweet.
Yeah, but it's it is literally sweet.
It is.
It's cake.
Yeah.
This is true.
This is, yeah.
But it's again a throwaway scene.
Yeah.
He didn't need this for character development.
No, because he's
one of the best developed characters in the show.
Yeah.
Like, he steals the screen in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
So he didn't need it for that. But we bring back the mysterious woman who appeared to Auggie on the steps. And so it must have to do with that.
It must.
Right? So we're going to learn something about her.
Yeah.
And all we learn about her is that she is a liar.
She's a liar,
I
pants.
guess. Because they talk about having dead loved ones and leaving cake.
Yeah.
And then she leaves, and we have this dramatic pan down to a tombstone.
Just say pan down, my guy.
Tilt? Is that better?
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I don't care. I direct people who use cameras. I don't use cameras.
Right.
Okay?
Right, that makes
okay?
sense. Yeah.
I'm kind of a step above such things. Hope you understand that.
I'm a producer.
All right? I'll call it whatever the fuck I want.
So pan down.
And you minions will get in line.
Right, so we pan down.
Pan down, you peon. All right. Just kidding. Tilt is the right answer, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm very
That's
sorry.
all I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for all the cinematographers I offended.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I respect you, and you deserve better.
So,
Tilt
Yes.
to reveal that the person listed on the tombstone she was looking at was not her dad.
not her father.
In fact, it was a 3-year-old girl.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I never could have called that she was a liar.
Mind blown. Right? And so it's like, well, it was such a dramatic reveal.
Yeah, it's
Like-
funny because when it happened on screen, so you said, you're like, oh yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I had no so it's actually a very obvious on the nose thing. They're literally just trying to say that she was saying shit that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And look, see, the tombstone isn't her dad, so she's not telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And that was it. But the way they shot and presented it made it to seem so important.
Yeah.
That I didn't even catch that. I went 10 steps further and I'm like, who is Edith? That's the name on the tombstone. I'm like,
Right.
Edith. Oh my, is she from 1968 China?
Right.
You know, who is this? Who is this? You know, I'm ready to solve the mystery.
Yeah.
But there is no mystery. It's just,
Maybe it's connected to something way down.
oh, it's going to be in season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Season 3, they're like, Edith revealed. God.
I believe, yeah, that it was just an obvious thing. But the reason why I felt like it was so crap, I guess, is because, like you said, there's supposed to be character development here for Clarence, but we already like Clarence
Yeah.
because everything that he does is plot related.
And consistent with his own character.
Yeah,
So he's what do you call it? He's trustworthy.
and we don't need motivation for him, and no character motivation. And even this part doesn't even provide character motivation on his part, because all he's doing is visiting. So it's showing that he's a human person.
Yeah.
That he feels. And
Yeah.
so what? Because
Maybe that's what we needed. He has emotions.
he does it, but he already does that. He already has emotions.
You're okay. You're right. It's a throwaway scene. All right. Throw that away.
Okay.
We've turned this into a 15-minute episode already
15.
by throwing away scenes.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. Jack comes home to find that someone
Apple Vision Pro.
has brought him an Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Inscribed with his name on it and snuck it into his house. Creepy.
Super creepy.
Yeah, so he's got the shiny VR headset now. And the first, he doesn't even sit down. He's just like, okay. Pops it on his head. And it was actually like my favorite scene of the episode is this dude walks up to talk to him and he punches him in the face.
I love that. Yeah.
I love that bit. He's just like, boom. Just want to see what that was like.
Yeah.
He's like, why did you hit me? Boom.
I love this because it also explains the system that's involved. The guy who comes up is the same kind of guy like the Count, but he's different. And he has another follower, but she's different. And
same purpose.
Yeah,
We're playing the same game.
Yeah, and they but the reactions to the punching is very NPC. It's just ow. Anyway.
Yeah. They just keep talking.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so that was cool. He chooses a name in this scene.
We skipped over it. I forgot what it was.
I forget what it was too.
Something funny, because Jack's funny.
I love Jack. He's my second favorite character.
Yeah, next to Taylor. Taylor's my first favorite character.
Always.
Yeah.
All right. Cut to Taylor. Can you cut to a shot of Taylor?
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Here we go.
All right.
Boom. That's Taylor.
Okay. My note is Jack gets the game, punches dude. Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
All right. Next, we finally meet Will Downing. He's teaching a high school scene.
And he gets cancer.
They did. Honestly, this is a funny criticism. I felt like Dan and Dave picked the lowest fruit on the tree to have the one time they show him teaching high school is he's talking about the many worlds theory.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we make him sound really profound and deep without actually doing research into physics? So he's like, in the many worlds theory, there could be 5 Jessicas or 2 Mr. Downing.
Yeah, they're doing the Star Trek thing where they explain something really complicated in something that's super simple.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
It's funny because what you took from that scene was that I took symbolism from it, and I thought it was very obvious symbolism that I didn't like. It was the idea that maybe because I've already seen it once, but that he has cancer, and I think through voiceover we hear him teaching. And we see him get the results, I think. Yeah,
so the first thing we see is he has like 8 missed calls from his doctor.
That's what it was.
While he's teaching.
Yeah, so this part, I felt like him saying the many worlds thing was him trying to imagine himself down the line somewhere else in another parallel universe that isn't this one who's dying, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was fairly obvious, and I thought it was kind of, what's the word? I don't know.
On the nose?
Yeah.
It might be even more on the nose than you think, considering what may come in future episodes.
I don't even like that.
Sorry, don't want to spoil shit, but anyway. So yeah, we meet Will. He finds out he has cancer. We go to the scene where he's talking with Jack. It's actually a really well played scene. It's a very well acted scene. The two of them. That is a great scene.
Yeah, but it's all because actually no, they're both really good actors.
Yeah. It's very simple. It's like a 2-camera deal. Very simple.
You know what's funny? When I watched that scene the second time, I was trying to find flaws with it because I was like, oh, this is kind of a weak introduction to Will, being like, oh, you have cancer, and it's the really, I feel like it's cheesy, a tropey thing where you cut off another person mid conversation to say something that's really deep, right? Or something that's really emotional, or a kiss or something like that. And for this, it was like, he's like, Jack, I have cancer. Or I was like that, and it's like, oh, you got to drop the emotions really deep now. But it was.
Yeah.
And I think it was because Jack and Will, to me, sold it really well. Will didn't have that same tone as he kept talking. I think he went down a little bit, and Jack did this really emotional high, which I thought was a cool contrast. It's not something that I see all the time.
And I think Jack's a big personality, and I think Will's a small personality.
Right.
That's kind of what they are.
Yeah.
And this scene really did a good job of conveying that. I love Jack's just refusal to accept what he's telling him.
Maybe that's what it was. It was that character moment, because that's a character moment. That's not tropey.
Yeah, and he's like, eat.
Right.
And he's like, no, I don't feel like eating. He's like, just try.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what comes from strong actors, is the implying that something more was written, but it's not on the page. Like that's what we talked about with Benedict Wong why he's such a good actor, or what, not why he's such a good actor, but he's portraying something that we believe he has more to him than just the surface. He has a three-dimensional character in his acting abilities.
Yeah.
And it's like Auggie doesn't have that, Saul doesn't have that. So, yeah.
This is the first of what will be many times of them repeating that Will is obsessed with Jen.
Yeah.
And has never had the balls to tell her.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And even though Will and Jen are both really well done characters, this just really sealed the deal to me that this show sucks at believable romance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like even this, they couldn't really sell. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Dan and Dave don't know what love is.
That's what it is.
Like Forrest Gump.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh, that's from Game of Thrones.
That is that from Game of Thrones?
All right. So we go back to this is a cool sequence. Now Jen is playing the game. This is the longest game sequence we have in the show.
Oh, the Ming Dynasty thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes into this palace. There is some really weird, heavy-handed foreshadowing that I only picked up in my rewatch.
About the sons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When she goes into the palace, the door of the palace has the triple sun logo on it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, why would you...
I don't know why that's that thing.
Why would you do that? Anyway, so it's like the designer of the building knows that there's three suns.
Well, so...
Sorry, spoiler for episode 3. I'm sorry.
No, this... later on in the series, and this isn't a spoiler, the logo that, because it is a logo, the three suns, I feel like that should probably be the logo for this series, the Three Body Problem.
Yeah,
but it's a logo for the game, which is what the series is based on, I guess. But it's a logo for the game. Why does the game have a logo? See, I'm getting
brand
spoilers.
recognition, D. They're trying to build a brand.
The Santi need to brand.
Yeah. When they get here, they're going to sell us Pepsi. We're bad at not spoiling future episodes.
Yeah,
just
that's
saying.
terrible. Yeah.
Just saying. Anyway.
Just keep going to the end.
They all die at the end. So what is his name? The Count?
The Count
shows his theory for the chaotic periods by laying down a series of sticks on the ground that represent the yin and yang of the universe. Jen recognizes that this is superstition and not science.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Shut up, woman." And then he's like, "I'll prove it to you. This says, we got 8 more days of chaos and then like 60 years of prosperity."
Yeah.
I like the moment where they're like, "Speed up time." And then they look at Jen and they're like,
"Put your hand on the ground."
"Speed up time." Put your hand on the ground. No, that was funny. So they speed up the time. It looks like a stable period, and the most dramatic and passionate moment of the whole series happens when the Emperor goes, "Rehydrate the masses."
Yeah, the emotional high of
it was the emotional high of the whole series. I got pumped. I'm like, yeah, let's rehydrate them.
This is a weird scene.
It's really weird.
No. Beyond the idea that we're inflating bodies. Yeah, strange, but
naked bodies.
Yeah. No, that's kind of weird because the shot starts with this Asian woman who's getting rehydrated.
Yeah,
and we have various close-ups to see parts of her body.
Cool VFX.
Yeah, awesome. Really good. Yeah, really good VFX. And then we have a wide shot of 5 bodies coming out, and they're all female. And they're all...
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Are we doing a booby thing? Right. Is this just a booby thing?
That's what it felt like.
Then finally a guy came out with his dong winging around.
Yeah, there was
I was like, thank you.
1 to 20 women.
Can you just give us a little dick, would you? Come on.
I just thought it was weird. It felt like a Tarantino thing to me where you're just like...
Actually, it felt like a Dan and Dave thing.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Because they had so much criticism throughout like the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Was that they had just this pervasive female nudity
Yeah.
and would find creative reasons to cut away from naked men all the time. Like, oh, I can't look at that.
Can't look at that.
That's fucking gay, you know?
What caught me off guard here was like when I first saw this part, I was like, oh, cool. They're all getting. Is the follower gonna be naked?
I know. I thought the same thing too. I'm like, oh God, this little girl is gonna walk out naked. I don't want that. No, thank you.
And she just doesn't.
Yeah, well, she dehydrated in her clothes.
Yeah.
And
But
all
no
these
one
other
else
people
did.
dehydrated naked.
I see.
That makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
guess.
logical. Yeah.
They were all in a communal shower or something.
And then the chaotic era instantly starts
Surprised them.
in the next hour.
Someone writing the scene was just like, it'd be really cool if they're all naked. That's all. That's all it was. So it's like a happy moment. It's like a really triumphant kind of moment.
Yeah.
As these people are all celebrating.
For an hour.
Yeah.
No, maybe not even that, like 15 minutes.
It doesn't seem long.
Yeah.
The follower comes out. She hugs Jen, and Jen's like genuinely like emotionally attached to this.
Yeah.
And then the White Walkers come. Am I wrong? It was the exact same visual effect.
That's so funny.
As the White Walkers rolling into town.
My exact thought when I saw that scene was that.
Yeah, I'm
too.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is Hard Home.
Yeah.
Season, what was that? Season 5?
That was late in
Season 5, episode 6. Yep.
Yeah. It was that.
Yeah. So yeah, a freeze happens. Everyone dies. The follower crumbles in Jin's hands and
After screaming,
save me
over
in a really horrifying way.
Yeah.
So she's dead, rip. And then the character known as Sophon shows up. Just saying, if I don't know what a Sophon is. I'm not saying that's a thing. I'm just saying
I'm bleeping this out.
If you read the character names, you could watch the credits of episode 2 and see that the video game woman with the sword is named Sophon.
That's crazy.
That's all I'm saying.
That's crazy.
Sophon shows up and tells Jin, you failed to save this civilization. They died by freezing, but you succeeded in discovering that science is better than superstition. You go to level 2.
Yeah, something about that I'm going to go ahead and spoil. But
you know what? Fuck it.
You know what? Fuck it.
Fuck it.
Actually, I'm not. Well, I don't want to spoil it here, but I do want to talk about it. Fucking this level 1 to level 2 thing. Sophon says you discovered blah blah blah, but later on in the series, Jen says that the idea is not to stop the what do you call it? The chaotic flow. Mm-hmm. It's to save the people. And then they go, congratulations, right? That's what we wanted the whole time. So why did she pass level 1?
Because she never would have saved the people without discovering that science was the way to do it.
Right? It doesn't come into play again, does it? In like level 2?
I don't know. I actually have an answer to that, but it's like not even this season spoiled. It's like end of the book spoils. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well then, never.
Ask me later.
I'll ask you later,
bitch. All right. Shoo. That was a cool scene.
Neat.
It ends with a reveal that there is a mysterious person watching people play the game. Like we pull back on the final shot of Jen's gameplay to see it on a monitor, and then we see that there's many monitors all showing other people playing the game, and there's a dude there sitting.
It's that Inspector Gadget,
Dr. Claw.
Dr. Claw. Yeah,
I'll get you next time. That guy?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we see Clarence getting his retina scan to go into an office. He gets allowed in, and he goes and meets with Wade.
Weird shot, by the way.
Which one?
The close-up on the retina scan.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It was like it was trying to say, in case you forgot what his name was.
It looked like it was trying to say, like this retina scan is important.
Yeah,
there's a thing, but David Fincher has this thing where he only cuts to close-ups when he wants something to be very important and stuck in the person's mind. And he rarely has close-ups in his movies. but when he does, you're like, fuck, like that's something I should know.
Yeah.
And I guess
You
maybe
would
that's just in
seem,
my mind.
if they're trying to emphasize that this is a high security office that only special people are allowed into,
Yeah.
you would have done the reverse shot of like his eye
Right.
being scanned.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
It's
a
just
thought.
weird. It's just weird.
Okay.
Weird choice.
He goes in. Wade is weird as fuck. Wade is a weird guy.
Wade's fucking
Like, I
weird.
feel like Wade is a lizard person. Like, he welcomes him being like, I got a complaint about you.
I fired him.
Yeah. He said, apparently you've been smoking in your office. I fired him.
How does he say? Okay, why does he say apparently when he like literally the last episode said, "Stop smoking, no smoking in here."
Yeah. I'm telling you, Wade is weird. He's really weird.
Wait, maybe Wade's just a bad actor.
He's not. He's a good actor.
Maybe he's a bad actor.
I don't think so. I like that actor. I don't remember his name.
No, I like him. I think he does.
I
well.
loved him as Davos Seaworth.
He's just okay. He's just weird. Wade's weird.
And it took a while watching this show for Wade to grow on me. By the end of the show, I actually liked
By
Wade.
the end, it was.
We'll argue about that later.
Yeah, we can argue this.
They have a chat, and actually it turns into a really good bit of acting by our favorite person in
of
the
course,
show, Clarence.
Yeah.
Benedict Wong.
Again, there's that film noir.
He goes full film noir. He
Yeah.
goes like whole hog film noir, and is like, funny thing though. This thing happened in Beijing in 1968.
Who else?
No. Pause for big drag on cigarette.
Right.
You know who else lived in Beijing in 1968?
Yeah. I love that.
Cut to Beijing, 1968.
Right.
No, actually, it wasn't Beijing.
Right.
It was Mongolia.
And was it 1977?
You might be right. I don't know. I don't pay
There's
attention.
something about
I don't
this.
care.
Whatever.
I honestly don't care.
I just don't.
Yeah, I
give a
don't
shit.
care. All right. They're talking about Evans.
Right.
The old dude who was at the funeral. They got pictures of him. They know he's an energy tycoon.
Yeah.
That's all we know so far. And then he reveals Evans was in Mongolia when this thing was transmitted.
And then we learned that he was some hippie
He's a hippie in the woods.
who was trying to save. His opening line is so dog shit. I hate his opening line. where
Actually, I kind of hate his whole character in this scene. It's like, I'm here to save a bird.
Yeah.
One kind of bird. I'm like, oh.
Well, I honestly thought it was comedic. I thought they were trying to throw a comedic take at us. Like he's overtly hippie. He's like, wait, like his opening line being, "I'm here saving lives," and he goes, "Oh, of course you would think it's human lives."
Yeah.
Like I literally thought they're making fun of him.
Yeah.
But later on, they show a huge empathy thread with him when they're trying to show the dynamic between him and Wenjie.
Yeah. Yeah. He kind of recovers, but yeah, they write him like, I'll put it this way. This will be controversial. I'm sorry. Ready? So I'm a vegan, and there are vegans that I just can't stand.
And that's him.
And it's guys like this, you know, they're just like that.
Yeah.
They talk like that. They're just like passively judgmental with everything they
That's
say.
so funny. Like, if that's a character moment, why is that not later on in the season? Because
Oh, it's like a throwaway character moment because
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with Evans later, but spoilers.
he runs an energy company. That's like,
Right. Yeah. He's like, I drill for oil. Anyway, I don't know. Again, it feels like a story with a lot of missing pieces.
who would have thought?
Who would have thought? And so young Evans is a hippie in the woods. He's been planting trees. He doesn't want them to build a new radio tower here.
That's right.
And he's read Silent Spring. And he's alone. And Wenjie says, nothing in nature can exist alone.
What a flirt.
Which, whew, I was ready to see them fuck right then.
Yeah, right
I'm
there.
like, they're going to
Yeah.
get down.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I was ready for it. I was ready. And they didn't deliver.
Maybe we'll see it later on.
Nope. Spoiler. We never see Wenjie and Evans fuck.
Come on.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That's all I ever wanted.
Because we got carried away talking about throwaway scenes and like stupid backstories, I neglected to talk about a scene I really, really liked.
Yeah, the one that both of us talked about that I liked.
Yeah.
Both of us
So this is Wenjie back in Mongolia in 1968 or 77, or somewhere in between.
Somewhere. Yeah.
And it starts with her chatting with a guy. They're sitting in front of the radio antenna. She explains the Fermi paradox to a person who definitely should have known what the Fermi paradox is.
Yes.
But whatever. And then she asks for some information from California. Her confidant comes and says, I got this for you. You know, our secret.
Our secret.
The doctor from California. And basically, it helps her come up with that a message from outer space was amplified before it came to China because it hit the sun.
Right.
And they could possibly amplify their message by bouncing it off the sun.
Yeah.
And then he goes, that's such a good idea. I'm going to steal it and pretend it's my idea.
Yeah. To not throw shade, by the way, because we've been throwing a lot of shade. I love this scene, the one with the chalkboard, because...
No, it's great visual storytelling. It makes a complex concept very easy to understand.
Yeah. And there's a comedic tone with it, too, where she keeps pausing and looking at him like...
Yeah, and he's like,
yeah, and he just doesn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the best ways to get a hard concept across to an audience is to have a character who's dumb.
Right.
You provide the dumb character so that they can dumb it down.
Which is so weird.
For the audience, really.
It's weird for the context here because there's...
Why are you dumb? You work at a secret laboratory.
For apparently, I mean, he's young, but I imagine he's been there for a long time.
I don't know. He doesn't know about the Fermi paradox, so whatever. And so he presents it to their... commander, whatever he is, and he gets really pissed off.
That's right.
He's like, hell no, because of the optics.
Can you imagine what would happen if we did that and showed nobody because we're a secret organization?
I know. So he's like, he gets all upset about it because of politics. He was like, he's like, bouncing our signal off of the red sun? What would that say? And you pointed out that's kind of weird because you guys are a secret operation that supposedly no one else knows about. Right. So why would optics matter? But
exactly.
I don't know.
It's because they needed to move the story along and get her to do it by herself.
It's funny because to me, you know, there was some backlash when the show came out.
Yeah.
And it was a mirror of the backlash that happened when the Chinese version of the show came out and when the book came out.
Right.
Which is that it shows, portrays Chinese people specifically in kind of a racist way. And this was the only moment where I thought, kind of here. That kind of is.
Yeah.
Right. This guy who's like so caught up in Chinese nationalism that he's just blind to the facts in front of him and not willing to accept a good idea because of the image of China is more important than anything else.
I love that. Honestly, that's kind of what I thought. Again, what I thought the book was about, and what I thought this whole series was about nationalism, but and in conflict with something that's greater than humanity. I think that's a really strong message, but it's just not. I think it doesn't work in here because of all the pieces that are missing, and thus it just seems like a random racist thing.
Up to this point, I feel like Dan and Dave haven't picked one thing that the show is about.
Yeah.
Not one thing. It's like really spread.
I really wish it was Wenjie's story, like from the beginning to end. You know?
Oh, it would have been cool.
Yeah.
It would have been cool. Or any one person's story, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever. Okay, so getting back to our timeline we were on. We were back in the past Wenjie's storyline again. So we just met Evans. The next scene, she's at a workplace of some kind. Either it's a labor camp or just workers working. And one of them is the woman who killed her dad. She now only has one arm. And she basically she gets confronted by Wenjie and makes the case that she does not regret what she did and would have done it again.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that there's not a trope here, I guess is what I'm saying.
It's not tropey.
Yeah, where your killer, or not your killer, but you're the person who harmed her father is not backing down. That she's still her. That's interesting to me.
Yeah. And there's some kind of line where like Wenjie says something like, so you haven't repented. And then she goes, no one repents.
Right. Oh, okay. That's the shit that I had with this scene. So I told you that I wanted to talk about this scene because although I like that the person, I don't know her name.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, but when she doesn't back down, she says that she would have done it again. I was like, fuck, that's badass. Like not in a good way, but it's badass that it's interesting that a character is sticking to whatever the fuck they're believing, right? And that's so interesting in this kind of tropey kind of show because it's not a trope. But what holds it back is that it's used later on, I think, just as motivation fodder for Wenjie to decide what she's going to decide, right? Mm-hmm. She like, this is her tipping point, right? This is what we talked about. Spoilers for the next section that we're going to talk about. But this is the tipping point for Wenjie to be like, oh, humanity sucks, right? This is that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dumb. That's dumb for that reason. It's cool for a reason that...
It's a good scene in a vacuum.
Right.
But they try to use it as context to validate what happens in the next scene.
Right. So it kind of like, it dilutes what the girl says to me.
Yeah.
Because it's less about her character and more about motivation.
Yeah. So the next scene, both of us have said it was kind of our favorite part of the whole show. Wenjie is monitoring the radio signals, and what do you know, a message actually comes in.
Yeah.
She decodes it, and it basically says, do not respond. You are lucky it was us who got this message. If you reply, we will come and conquer your world, so don't respond.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then after some very tense moments of contemplation, she types out a message back that says, we cannot save ourselves. Come conquer us. I will help you.
I will help you
conquer this world.
So I like the motivation that I like that she has this desire for that, but that's stupid. Don't like, I wish that part had been cut out. Just the part of her typing that specific message, because that's hilarious to me.
I felt like
that's some Futurama shit.
It could have been done better.
Yeah.
I don't mind the message. I wish we saw more to demoralize her.
No, yeah, 100%.
And I'm not minimizing what we did see, her father being killed, and she's forced into
there wasn't much
position. But I feel like there should have been more to make us really buy that she's ready to flush all of humanity down the toilet.
Exactly, all of humanity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that whole situation with her father's killer thing was interesting in its own right, and it could have been one of those things that, tips or what do you call it, breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt like it was that and her dad's death, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could have been done better. But that's a Dan and Daveism, because that's Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh, geez.
She at some point she decides she's going to just torch all of humanity. Fuck y'all! I'm going to kill everyone.
Yeah,
I'm Mad Queen Daenerys now, and it's like, cool. If we had maybe another season and a half of watching her devolve to this point of insanity. Not it flips like a freaking light switch.
Right.
So, I don't know. I guess Dan and Dave, I guess we just don't like them very much.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be one of those, that's what the show's going to be.
It might be. Don't despair, listeners. There's a lot of cool stuff to talk about in the episodes ahead, to praise and to shit upon. So if you're into that kind of thing, if that's your kink, come back to Deep Dish every week, and where you can join at least 2 filmmakers, maybe more.
Ooh.
Yeah. Deep dishing on 3 Body Problem, and then even more series in the future. Thank you for listening to Deep Dish from Karman Line Studios, where you can also find shows such as The Talkies and all the wonderful places where podcasts can be found, but especially YouTube.
Especially YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's the best place. All right. Peace out.
Bye. Fade to black. Hey.
It's that time again.
Hey.
It's time for our pizza slice rating. If you're not familiar with the Talkies,
We rate movies by pizza.
By pizza,
which makes sense.
We make a very nuanced and creative comparison to an experience eating a pizza to describe our experience with the movie.
Yes.
And we find this to be the most pure and authentic movie rating system in existence.
Yes, it is.
And you could take that to the bank.
You can. So instead of doing one whole pizza for each episode, we're doing slices of pizza for each episode. And then at the end, the whole series.
We'll accumulate all the slices together and see what that looks like.
That's going to be interesting.
It will. Yeah. So we made this decision halfway through the season, and that's why this is being added onto the episode as an addendum.
As a retroactive.
I think episode 5, around there, we actually show up doing this on screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you just have to deal with this voice thing for now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You could deal with it.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Just fucking deal with it.
Just fucking deal with it.
Yeah, man. Don't stop your whining. Take off your little bitch hat.
So if you could... So if you think of this episode that we just theoretically watched, episode 2 of 3 Body Problem, as a slice of pizza, what would it be?
Well. I'm going to always remember this episode as the one where all the red flags went up for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Having just listened to the episode or watched the episode, dear viewer, you probably noticed we got pretty harsh on Dan and Dave.
We did, yeah.
Spoiler for the rest of the season: it doesn't get any better. We get pretty. Sometimes this show feels like a Dan and Dave analysis, like a critique on Dan and Dave more than anything.
That's basically what we did.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Funny how that worked out.
I got a slice of pizza for you.
You already got it?
So the slice of pizza it's pretty good pizza. It's pepperoni pizza that you get from I was gonna say Long John Silver's. That's weird. Little Caesars.
Okay.
Long John Silver pizza.
Either place, you're bound to get food poisoning.
Yeah, sure. So from Little Caesars, fresh hot pepperoni pizza. And you eat it, and it's good. And then at the end, you forgot that you didn't take your Lactaid pill, and realize that everything that you had consumed is now going to come out way faster than you had anticipated.
Yeah.
So very enjoyable at the beginning. At the end, retroactively, it's a terrible experience, and you'd probably never do it again.
Yeah. All right. I'll go a slightly different direction and say that this slice of pizza has a really good crust and sauce on it.
Okay.
And then the cheese is like the most boring, lackluster cheese. Like almost tastes bad, but more so just doesn't add anything. Just kind of a blah.
Just kind of there.
And then the topping is nerds. Which, are actually pretty good on their own.
But not on pizza.
Just don't fit on this pizza. You know what I mean? So it's like there's some good things there that belong. There's some good things there that don't belong. And there's some things there that are just not good.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's wacky.
There you go.
All right.
Now take it to the bank.
Okay. Like me? You want me to do it?
It's worth something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that to the bank. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Amen.